What's up, Vector family? Today I'm joined by one of our great clients, Youssef. Youssef's been with us for a couple of months now, and he has a very interesting story to tell. Can't wait to dive into some of his trading background, where he's coming from, and the success he's had so far in our program. But aside from all of that good stuff, before we actually even get into it, Youssef, why don't you just tell our listeners a little bit about what you do for work and how that all ties in with your trading work-life balance.
I used to run a modeling agency, and when I first joined Vector, I was still running that agency. Now, of course, if you can only imagine the environment when you're doing such a business, only comes and leads into, partying, clubs, casinos, what you basically expect out of it. And it actually had to do a lot with when I first joined and how I mentally reacted to specific trading days, um, and how me interfering with it affected my results, which could have been achieved a little bit earlier than me achieving them right now.
Got you. So when you actually discovered Vector, what was your thought process going into it? Like, obviously, you had a conversation with one of our account executives, Cheyenne, who showed you the entire program, how it worked. Leading up to it, were you more on the skeptical side? Were you already familiar with trading programs and courses and algos? Like, what was your headspace like going into it?
Yeah, so I have traded before. It was mainly crypto, never really done futures. When I first joined the call with Cheyenne, I remember saying this to one of my friends very well as well. I was very skeptical, mainly because I didn't know who the hell Cheyenne was. And at the same time, when we join a Zoom call and, all you see is a fake background, you're like, well, this guy could literally be taking this call from a garbage bin for all I know. And then, all you see is just this nice fancy background. And I said that to my friend the same way I literally just worded it. So I didn't know what to do. Ended up, hopping off the call, didn't pull the trigger. And then literally for like 2 or 3 days, I just kept looking over and over Vector. And I was like, you know what, screw it, I'll pull the trigger. Hopped on another call, closed it. Well, he closed me actually, and basically chose to join from there and then took it step by step.
Yeah. And now, if I can be just completely honest with our audience, when you first joined, you were not successful whatsoever. Um, I would say that everything you did, everyone should do the complete opposite. When you first joined, everyone should do the complete opposite of what you did. If you don't mind actually just sharing with our listeners what it is that you did at the start and how that became a very important learning lesson for you as a trader and an algo trader as an investor.
Yeah, so when I did join, the skepticalism continued with me even after that call, because I was like, well, do I really trust this algo? Is it really gonna make me money? And as a young person my age, I had a lot of money from doing what I used to do. So I had money to blow left and right. So in my head, I would buy 20 accounts, all 20 of them, pay the PA fee, and trade them. Now the good thing I like about Vector is that you're able to trade multiple accounts at once. So you're not just stuck to one. But the other thing is, after I trade them, let's say for a good week or two, I'd bring them up maybe to, like just shy of like 500, $600 away from payout. And I'll be like, okay, I didn't have a trade sinker either. And I'll be like, okay, well, I have 20 accounts. I have $600 to make. Let's make $600. Now the thing that would happen is I'd start losing $100. I'll be like, okay, well, I'm not that dumb. The market is doing something. I'm just gonna try again. And trial, and then eventually ended up blowing 20 accounts. I would wait another week, buy 20 accounts again. Repeat the cycle. I've probably easily blown through at least 80 PA accounts.
What?
Yeah, including a few 300K accounts and a lot of 50K accounts. So when I first joined, I joined in around April, and I've blew a lot of accounts since then because of this habit that I had of, you know, buying accounts, being 500 shy from a payout, choosing to go after it manually, and then losing it. And that's mainly because of the fact, sorry, and that's mainly because of the fact that I didn't trust that the algo would win all the time. Because again, it is an algo at the end of the day. It's known that it will have winning days, it'll have losing days. And I just thought the losing days are about to happen and I'm just about to lose all my money.
Yeah, so actually, I'm glad you actually mentioned that because I think something that's not commonly addressed within the community is the fact that the skepticism that you have even after joining can actually hurt your progress. Because I find that the people that completely just let their guards down and come into this, even after they've signed up, they've completely just let their guards down and just go into this with a complete open mind, like, okay, I've invested in this already. Let me just give it its full potential. Let me just not touch it. Let me just give the program its breathing room to just do its thing. Um, so you mentioned a great point. Like, there's a lot of guys in our group that are very good at manual trading, and there are guys that, where they might be close to a payout. They might just they think they can do it on their own and just make that extra few $100 just to get to the finish line and finally get that payout. But they ultimately end up getting in their own way and hurting themselves more, blowing accounts. Like, I'll tell you a story. Like, I have a personal friend of mine that recently joined Vector like 2 months ago, and I told him, if you increase your lot sizing even to an NQ, I will ban you from the program. This is a personal friend of mine. And I told him, I said, I will ban you from the program. Because I told him, I said, the moment you start to go above and beyond, like and you start to get greedy and the numbers start to get to your head and you try to shoot for more and you're not disciplined, I said, then I told him straight up, I said, I don't even want you. I'm gonna ban you, and that's it. And I only say that because he's a personal friend of mine, and I want to hold him to that high standard because I want to see him do well. But I say the same thing to everybody else. It's like the only person that is holding you back is yourself in this, because the numbers are the numbers. Men lie, women lie, but numbers don't lie. So when we have the data to back some of the performances of our strategies and algos, at that point it's just a matter of how long can I last in this game for. Like, are you going to continuously blow accounts because you're manually trading, or you're trying to get rich quick with by increasing your lot sizing and trying to get a payout quickly? um, we you and I, you actually live in Toronto, and we met about a month or two into your program. You actually wanted to meet myself and my business partner Bess. You want to talk about that meeting that we had, and
Yeah.
how did that conversation influence you from that point forward?
Yeah, so I think I hit rock bottom at some point where I at that time I was like 60 accounts deep and I reached out to someone that is actually very active in the community, Clicks.
Yep.
Shout out to Clicks. And he told me just message Lucci, message him, see what you could do. You guys live close enough, so why not go and talk? Then we hung out, we set a time, we hung out, and you introduced a lot of ideas to me, taught me why I should be disciplined, and also kind of showed me how casinos actually relate the same thing to trading, just without the gambling side, even though it's still technically gambling. And now that I think about it, it also has to do with the mentality of the adrenaline rush. Once you see like, oh, you hit one good trade on an NQ and made a lot of money, you're gonna want to chase that over and over. Um, and that's basically what was explained to me. And then ever since I was like, okay, I'm gonna try, maybe step down a little bit, let it be. I tried to fill my time doing other things, so that I don't think of the algo. And something that I also liked is that you mentioned that if it really gets to a point where it gets really bad, you guys can actually take care of it for me. And this is like a special case scenario that you were gonna do just for me, um, where, I don't have to touch it so I don't start losing accounts. Throughout the next, like maybe we'll say this was around June. throughout June, July, I maybe blew a few more accounts. Definitely not as bad as it used to be in the beginning. And it got to the point where I had like my last 3 or 4 accounts, and then I just decided, you know what, we're gonna put an end to it. And ever since, I've just been letting the algo do its thing. And I'd say maybe in like the past 3 months, I've taken one manual trade, and that was because it was a complete dump, and it's like 500 points deep, and I was like, like I joined that, trend down. But other than that, there wasn't really anything that I tried to do myself.
Yeah. One thing you said, and I want, I'm glad you mentioned it. I want listeners to actually um, remember what you just said there, which is that after our in-person meeting, I made a special, how should I say this? Special exception, if you will, where, like, to give context on our listeners, like Yusuf was having a very difficult time stopping his manual trades because, like, to your point, like, there's an adrenaline rush behind it. It's like, oh, I made a lot of money on this trade. Let me hit the next one, and then you blink your eye, and then your account's blown, and now you're completely liquidated, and you're throwing your computer across the room. Like, it's
I
part of the
haven't
game.
done that. Haven't done that yet.
Uh, but that special exception that I made for you, and we don't do this for everybody, was that I told you, if you keep doing what you're doing, we're gonna change your VPS passwords. We're gonna give it to someone on the team, and they're just only gonna turn on the algo, and that's it. You cannot manual trade. And I know you remember that because I saw that you were having a difficult time just sitting on your hands and not letting the algo do its thing. And then instead, you're intervening, you're manual trading, you're doing high contract sizing, all of these things. And I said to you, if it's this bad of a situation where you just can't help it, but like get involved, then like we'll change your passwords, give us the permission to do so, and then we're just gonna let the algo run. And you're like, okay, let's do it. But then we never got to that point. Praise God, like you are able to discipline yourself and learn that psychology, trader psychology, where you would let the algo do its thing. And in the last, I think you said exactly 78 days, you made just shy of what, 10 grand now. So go ahead,
Yeah.
sorry.
In the as of today actually would be the 78th trading day on my last account, so three of them. But yeah, to just shy of 10 grand, I think 9,600 of it all. So it's looking pretty good.
That's solid, man. And now that I'm like honestly, brother, like to me, the testimonial of this video isn't the 10 G's that you've made. It's the fact that you've come to a point where in the last 78 trading days that you mentioned, you've only taken one manual trade. To me, that's the testimony. That's the success because if you look at all the interviews that we've ever done, the number one piece of advice that everyone gave, like some of these guys are saying, "Oh, I made 100 grand in a month, 40 grand in a month," and it always came back to that. The advice that they gave always came back to trader psychology and discipline. It's the most common thing across all of our testimonials, all of our interviews. And though you didn't start off with that discipline, you developed it and you stuck with it. And I think to me that's actually the success story in this interview. Um, that being said, brother, like to close this all off, what is one piece of advice you would give to someone? Maybe that's not a new trader, but maybe someone that's struggling because they don't have the mental fortitude in trading. Maybe they don't have the discipline to succeed in trading or algo trading. What's a piece of advice that you would give to someone that was in your shoes 4 or 5 months ago?
I realized that the one thing that ultimately made me not trade manually anymore, and I'm saying even when in September, my accounts were like $300 away from blowing. And all of them, every single account. And I could have easily just, placed one trade, blew them all. And I still chose to trade with the algo and everything. Um, I think the one thing that I realized that made me stop trading was filling my time with something else to do. As long as my brain was off of trading, as long as my brain was off of, oh, I need to push for a payout, I need to force a payout out of it, I never thought of manually trading. And even if I did, I just didn't even have the time to do it.
Mm, I love
Like,
that.
I could even take a trade right now, and I'm maybe thinking of taking a trade right now, but I'm in an interview, so I'm not going to. And after this interview, I'll choose to do other things, so I don't do that.
Wow. That's a very logistical, I want to say, maybe, I don't know if that's the right word, logistical type of advice, because it's something that we can actually implement day to day. And I actually second what you say because I started doing that. So there's two things that actually helped me because I admittedly sometimes have a problem with manual trading, and so there's two things that I've done. One, I've given my VPS completely over to somebody else. So I don't even have my VPS password. I gave it to somebody else. They changed it. I don't know how to access it. So I cannot intervene any of my trades. So that's the first thing I did. So three things actually I did. I did that. Number two, I actually dedicated a few prop firm accounts only for my manual trading because I do want to learn the manual trading side. I personally am an algo trader, so my business partner is like a manual trading geek. Like this guy knows the markets in and out. If you look at all of his recordings on our live trading calls that we host for our group every morning, in the last say 20 trading days, 18 of those 20 trading days, his bias was always right. So what I do is I actually dedicate accounts for me to manual trade so I can actually learn. So I keep my algo accounts completely separate from my manual accounts on two different VPSs. My algo accounts, I keep it on a separate VPS for someone else that I trust to enable it for me. So I never even look at it. I look at it at the end of the week just to see what my PNL was, and that's it. And then I have another VPS for my manual trades. And then thirdly is exactly what you just said. Around 10 a.m. when our algos start to fire, I go to the gym. If I'm at the gym for like an hour, I'm sitting on my hands for an hour and now I can't intervene. I can't do anything. Like I'm forcing myself to just stay away from the charts to actually go and enjoy life because the purpose of why many people join Vector is not so that they can have a second job, which is what a lot of people end up turning this into, which is a second job, is literally so they can have a side income to go and supplement their lifestyle. Whether they're happy with 2 G's a month or 10 G's a month, they can go and do that with our program. But what ends up happening is that you end up spending hours in front of the screen, and now you're kind of just defeating the purpose of why you even joined to begin with.
Yep.
So Yusuf,
Yeah.
honestly, brother, I appreciate this. I appreciate the advice you gave on this YouTube channel, and I hope that in a couple of months from now we can have another channel. We can have another chat just like this, and we can look at some bigger P&Ls and hopefully an even more disciplined trader.
Maybe 100 G's.
Ah, God
That's
willing,
what
brother.
I mean.
Thank you, brother. Thank you
All
for your
right.
time.
Thank you, Luke. Thank you.